Thank you so much, fellow colleagues. Uh, my name is Mohammed Auwal Ibrahim. I'm the current president of the Nigerian Young Academy, and uh, I'm glad that the Sri Lankan Academy of Young Scientists has invited me to deliver this lecture on contribution of the Nigerian Young Academy to national development. Uh, the NYA that's the Nigerian Young Academy, is actually a unified platform for interaction among young, brilliant researchers in Nigeria, which are generally above 45 years of age at the point of entry. And the history of the academy actually starts with Global Young Academy and Nigerian Academy of Science in 2008 and in 2010 that actually joined hands together to form the Nigerian Young Academy. Uh, Sorry, is my slides moving?
Yeah. No.
What could be wrong?
Ah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So now we are at the introduction.
okay, thank you. Now, that's the history of the academy, and our objective is basically to nurture outstanding and aspiring youth academics and professionals towards improving the state of our nation, and also to recognize excellence among young researchers nationally, and also to promote the application of collective research findings for the improvement of the quality of society, and as well as to build inspirational figures for a new generation of researchers. The operations, this is the organogram of the academy. The highest body in the academy is the General Assembly, and that is usually followed by the Executive Committee, which is generally elected after every 2 years. And then the Executive Committee liaise or interact with senior academics, but mainly the Nigerian Academy of Science. And also, we also have working groups. We have three working groups. We have the Biological and Medical Sciences Working Group and Physical Sciences and Engineering, Physical Science, Engineering and Technology, as well as Social Sciences and Humanities Working Groups. Our activities for development of the country are usually channeled or are usually conducted or executed through these respective working groups. So the working groups have been very effective in that regards. This is the summary of NYA activities. First, the NYA has a quarterly newsletter through which we try to send out or inform the public about our activities within the quarter, and also try to inform the public about future, uh, about current research issues and also relevant issues that actually trend across the globe. And we also have a journal, the Annals of Science and Technology, uh, which is published by Saendo, that is former De Grota. And I request the fellow scientists in Sri Lanka to kindly try to also publish with our journal. It's published by Saendo. Now, we also give national awards that is usually to motivate young scientists to work towards national development. I'll talk about that later. But most of our contributions to national development are usually achieved through advocacy, workshops, and trainings. And I will dwell and talk more about that. Uh, we also conduct science policy advice when necessary, and I will also talk about that in a short while. Uh, One of the humanitarian issues that we also embark on is visits to IDP, internally displaced camp, to to support them and also provide them with some educational materials. Now, the most important uh, program of the Nigerian Young Academy that is well known in Nigeria and that is well impactful is the workshops that we usually conduct on anti-plagiarism and predatory academic practices. In the last 12 years, the NYA has organized more than a dozen of these anti-plagiarism workshops across different parts of Nigeria, across different institutions, different research institutions, and also across different universities. This is generally with the aim of sensitizing or teaching uh, especially postgraduate students, PhD and master students, as well as junior scientists on how they can avoid plagiarism and also the consequences of plagiarism. Thereafter, we also, apart from that, rather, we also conduct programs on predatory academic practices where we also sensitize the public, the scientific community, and all uh, uh, relevant individuals in the national education policy on how to, what to do about to combat or to control predatory academic practices in Nigeria. Typical of this example is the meeting we held, which is a high profile meeting in the country, including so many vice chancellors, uh, uh, deputy ministers, national librarian, staff of the National University Commissions, and so many other relevant individuals that are involved in the national education policy, where we alert them about the predatory academic practice and what the country will do in order to control the predatory academic practices and that will of course promote academic growth and as well as uh, national development. Now, apart from the physical events that we usually conduct, like I've earlier mentioned, we also conduct so many online webinars on anti-plagiarism and also on predatory academic practices. Uh, in fact, the effort of the Nigerian Young Academy in controlling plagiarism, especially in Nigeria, has actually been reported in Nature and it has also been reported in Science. This is a cross section of participants also in one of the workshops that we have conducted. Sometimes specifically we target women in science so that we train them in plagiarism, in anti-plagiarism, and also train them on different aspects relevant for their capacity building. This is one, this is another cross section. Now apart from the anti-plagiarism workshops, the Nigerian Young Academy is also involved in organizing conferences towards societal development. So far, we have organized 12 annual conferences, and all our conferences are usually focused on the societal development and especially the one of the items of sustainable development goal and focus the theme of the conference on and make so many recommendations to government as to what we can do to control as to what we can do to develop as a nation. Apart from these conferences, the NYA is also sometimes involved in writing position papers and making policy recommendations to government. One example of this is the one that we got involved in last 2 years concerning sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is rampant in some tertiary institutions, and therefore the NYA conducted a nationwide survey on the problems of sexual abuse in Nigerian tertiary institutions. Thereafter, we make specific policy recommendations to relevant stakeholders in the educational sector of the country, and we shared this recommendation also to relevant universities and other institutions for implementation and execution. And I'm glad to inform you that presently some of these things are making impactful contribution in controlling sexual abuse in our tertiary institutions. Apart from that, we also look at other relevant aspects of academic development and national growth. For instance, we conduct webinars on so many topics. One example is we conducted one on big data, where we try to educate uh, the public generally, on the concept of big data and what we can do as a nation to harness the power of big data so that we propel or promote our academic development and also our national growth. We also have webinars on science policy to see how researchers will start linking their academic research to science policy, and as well as how we communicate our scientific research to general audience, not only to scientific community in terms of journal publication and attending conferences, but to general audience so that we are truly impactful to the general public. Another example is we also conduct webinar on the economy, uh, especially how Nigeria as a country will 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 control financial shocks, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, and how our what we can do to our economy to promote uh, what we can do to our economy to promote to what we can do to our economy so that we move ahead as a country. Now, these webinars are well attended and they have been making very powerful impact to the nation generally, and they have been contributing to national development in various ways because we receive feedbacks generally from the public about how some of the recommendations, some of the information are usually utilized by both people in government and also by the general public in order to uh, promote national development. Apart from that, we are also involved in COVID-19 related programs. In fact, I'm happy to inform you that NYA is one of the first few organizations in Nigeria that publish and widely circulate strategies to prevent COVID-19 infection. This was at the first point when COVID-19 hit the world. During the initial period of the lockdown, NYA was one of the first organizations that responded to the issue, and eventually also develop strategies that could be adopted by the government to avoid the spread of the disease. Additionally, the NYA has so far organized 10 webinars where experts speak on different topics related to COVID-19 pandemic. And these webinars are well attended by relevant stakeholders in the public health agencies and the scientific community. And currently, a number of some of the policies that are being implemented are discussed, and usually they are being taken by the relevant policymakers as appropriate. Apart from webinars, in relation to COVID-19, we also organize uh, we also have policy brief. In this, so far we have organized and draft 8 policy briefs with respect to COVID-19, where in these policy briefs, experts write policy recommendations, specific policy recommendation, in fact, on different aspects of COVID-19. This we usually shared to all the relevant stakeholders also in the public health agencies and also the scientific community. These are just examples. We've written one on how to mitigate information disorder on COVID-19 pandemic. This is very important because misinformation and disinformation was very one of the negative things that affect the control of COVID-19 and also even the vaccine uptake or acceptance in the country. So we try to do something to mitigate how to mitigate information disorder, and then we submitted it to the policymakers for implementation. So we wrote 8 policy briefs in relation to COVID-19, and uh, they are gradually being executed. Now, if you notice, so far, all our programs generally were targeted on the postgraduate students, PhD students, general public, and others. but we need also a program that will also mentor young undergraduate students. And that is why we designed the Talk to Your Professors program, where we mainly mentor undergraduate students on different aspects of academic growth. So far, we have successfully organized 4 of these programs that are well attended. One of them actually attracted more than 500 participants in one of them. So they are well attended, and the undergraduate students are always keen and looking forward to this program because it's very exciting to them. They are being mentored by the Nigerian Young Academy. Apart from that, we also uh, look at the lower level, high school, or we call it secondary school. Here, NYA tried to enhance the interest and performance of these secondary school students in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects. And we visit so many secondary schools. So far, in the last 1 year, we visited more than 10 secondary schools across the country, in different states of the country. And they have been very impactful. And we also share some books to them so that we also enhance and motivate them to read subjects that are related to STEM. This is what we do generally to promote academic growth and also national development collectively. Apart from that, the NY also institutes an award, even though this is generally instituted by distinguished professors in their respective fields, but the basis for the awards are generally to motivate young scientists to do more in order to promote national development. For instance, we have National Young Scientist Prize in microbiology, in mathematical sciences, in chemistry, in health sciences, in linguistics, and also in geoenvironmental sciences. This is an annual award that is usually given to well-deserving scientists after very tough competition. And then eventually the purpose is to promote their academic growth and also which consequently will affect our national development. In conclusion, I would say that the NYA is using so many programs and is actually making impactful contribution to our national development using so many programs as I've indicated. This is our relationship networks and funding. A number of them have supported most of our activities. And I would say Situti, and thank you so much. And I'm grateful to Sri Lankan Academy of Young Scientists for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Akwal. Yeah. So I think when you brief about the work that you have done, there are so many things that we also can initiate in the country. So thank you very much for reminding us all those. Okay. So who's next? Yes, it's our president. At last but not least, we have Dr. Tilini Pereira, president of SLACE, to talk about SLACE's journey to the globe. Dr. Tilini is a lecturer in plant biotechnology from the Department of Plant Sciences, University of Colombo. She, with the current executive committee of SLACE, initiated the launch of SLACE Global Arm, took place parallel to the worldwide meeting of Young Academics 2022 held in USA. Dr. Tilini, over to you to brief about your experience and to give us some outline about how the Global Arm initiated and